My dad and I were just trying to make cookies, and this happened. I was just trying to cook up an answer for Audrey.
Why does heat cook food?
It's pretty amazing if you think about it. If you add flour, eggs, sugar, butter, and some other stuff, and you put a little heat in it, you get this. But if you heat it a little bit too much, you get this. How does heat do that? Maybe your questions about hot stuff will help me answer. Blech! Yeah, this is definitely burnt. Speaking of which, here's a burning question.
Why does some stuff melt and some stuff just burn when you heat it?
Well, Tristan, to answer that, knows all about hot, so ready or not. Here's my special guest, Shakib Rahman.
Hey, Zoe.
Hey.
I'm all fired up to be here to help you answer some questions about why some things melt and other things burn.
Is that why you brought the biggest chocolate bar ever? Are we gonna eat it? Please tell me we're gonna eat it.
Oh, we're definitely gonna eat it.
Wait, did he say eat or heat? Ice water? I thought we were supposed to be making stuff hot.
Well, when we're talking about hot stuff, it's important to remember that heat flows from something that's hot to something that's cold. Like this pitcher of ice water.
Oh, I get it. Heat flows from something hot like my hand to something cold like this ice water.
Yeah.
Let's eat. Eat the chocolate.
Do you see what's happening, Zoe?
Yeah, it's melting.
Yeah, it's slowly starting to become a liquid.
Why?
It's because the energy from the water is getting transferred into the chocolate. Just like when you put your hand on the cold pitcher of water, the heat from your hand went into the ice water. Here, the heat from the water is going into the chocolate.
Cool. Hot.
Exactly.
Oh, it's melted. Does everything melt at the same temperature?
That's a great question. But everything doesn't really melt at the same temperature. The chocolate has melted, but the glass bowl that it's in is still a solid. Same thing with the spoon that I've got in my hand here. That's still a solid as well.
Anything will melt if you heat it enough?
Well, here's where it gets weird. Some things don't really melt when you heat them. They just burn. I've got a little wooden splint here.
Fire!
Exactly. Some things will burn, and this is called a combustion reaction, when it burns instead of melting.
By the way, don't try this at home.
Some substances will do both. Cheese is a good example of this. First it'll melt, and then it will
burn. And sometimes it feels like we're the one melting and burning. Neve had a question about that.
When it's sunny outside, why does the sand burn your feet?
Oh, it's a sunny day. I just want to play in my bare feet, But oh my gosh, the sand is hot. I can't stand still, it hurts a lot. It's the sun's heat. It's burning my feet. The sun has heated up the sand, and now it's more than I can stand. It's heating my feet. It's heating my feet. Yeah! Hot! Ow! Yikes! This is really hot! Ow! Hot! Beach sand can get really hot. But if you keep heating sand all the way up to 1,700 Celsius, hotter than lava, something amazing happens. It melts and turns into a thick liquid, like taffy. And when it cools down again, it hardens and becomes glass. But heat can also be used for destruction! Camus, we have the same question.
How does heat make something explode?
Yeah, how come stuff blows up sometimes when you heat it? Shakib did a cool experiment with Jenna and Marco. The experiment!
Hey, Zoe. We're out here trying to do our first experiment. Do you guys know how to make an explosion?
Yeah, take some fuel and light it, and it'll cause fire to make the explosion.
That's perfect. You guys know any examples of fuel that we could use?
Like gasoline?
Yeah, gasoline is a great fuel. It's actually a fuel that we use when we're creating explosions every day. Out here in the parking lot, we're surrounded by things that actually cause explosions all the time. The engine of your car has something called an internal combustion engine. And those cars cause explosions, and that explosion can do work for us. We're going to do the same thing here. Now remember, kids, this is a very dangerous experiment. Please do not try this at home unless you are supervised by a professional like me. What we're going to do is take this tennis ball and launch it out of this cannon. I need you guys to take 3 large steps backwards. Good. Now, what I'll do is add the fuel in. The next thing we need to do is put the tennis ball inside our cannon. Once we ignite the fuel inside the cannon, it's going to force the tennis ball to come out the end and hit that target over there.
3, 2, 1. Oh, that was amazing.
That was so cool. We use explosions for big stuff, like demolishing buildings or blasting tunnels. But if you can control explosions so only a little energy is released at a time, you can use them to make things move. Shakib has another experiment. It's called Gummy Bear Meltdown. Shakib, take it away.
First, take the special chemical that I've prepared and, very carefully, pour it into my test tube. The next thing I need to do is add some heat, and for that, I use a propane torch. This is very dangerous, so don't try these experiments at home. Once it's all melted, we can add in our last ingredient. Any last words, my fine gummied friend?
Wow. Who knew gummy bears were explosive? I'm glad they don't explode inside of me.
Well, they kind of do, actually.
What?
What happens is the energy from the gummy bear gets broken down in your body, specifically in your stomach. From there, that energy, all of the sugar in our gummy bears, gets used up to power your muscles and your body to help it move around.
Speaking of gummy bears, I got a sweet question from Amanda.
When you heat sugar, how does it turn into candy?
To find the answer, I went to meet candy maker Ling Gang. He makes special hard candies by hand, and they have little images and messages inside. There's little panda bears inside. How do you do that?
It's all about controlling heat. Come on, I'll show you. Today, we're gonna make some special candies that has your show logo in it.
Oh, the magnifying glass of my show. Awesome.
First, we have to mix the ingredients for the candy. Take the water, pour it into the pot. Now, pour these 2 bowls of sugar.
That's a lot of sugar.
No, the sugar glucose.
It's really goopy.
Now we have to heat the ingredients. The mixture has to reach a very specific temperature, just right, to make the perfect candy.
What temperature is just right?
I can't tell you the exact temperature because that's the secret recipe.
Oh, please?
No,
Come on, tell me. Tell me the secret. Come on.
can't tell you.
I won't tell anyone.
Sorry,
Oh, come on, just tell me.
it's a secret. But I can show you a test we do that tells you whether the sugar is ready.
Okay, that works.
We drop the mixture into cold water to see what it does. So now you can try to touch the sugar to feel its texture.
Oh, it's really soft.
This is called the softball stage. When it's soft like that, it's not hot enough for what we need. So we have to put it back on heating.
After a few more minutes of boiling the sugar solution, let's see what we get. Oh, hey, it's hard.
Yeah, this is the hard crack stage. You see how it bends and breaks? This is perfect for what we need.
That's amazing. Just a little change in the temperature made the sugar way different.
Now we can make our little candies with it.
Cool. First, it's time to add color. The red sugar will be the handle of the magnifying glass.
And the orange is gonna be the circle around the glass, and this is the white background. we're gonna turn this pile of yellowish goo into a snow white color by stretching it on a hook. This process adds air into the candy.
That's hard work.
Pull, 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 pull. Yes. Is it hot?
Hard to pull it.
Yeah, now it's cooling off faster and faster. See how white it turned out?
Yeah. Now that all the candy stuff is made, it's time to put the pieces together. Lin Jen uses a special heated tabletop to keep the candy soft enough to work with. Wow, so much depends on everything being exactly the right temperature.
Exactly. That way we can control the shape. The heat is our friend.
This is where Lin Jen does his magic. He puts together all the pieces that make up my show logo, then wraps them all up in white and orange candy. Look at that. By using heat, Lin Jen is able to take a huge candy chunk and make it thinner and thinner. Amazing. Those are so good. Thanks for showing me how heat can make sugar so much fun and delicious.
You're welcome.
This next super hot question is from Maya.
Why is it getting warmer in the Arctic?
It turns out heat doesn't just make stuff explode, melt, and expand. It can change something much, much bigger. Bigger than my house. Bigger than my town. Bigger than a whole continent. Bigger than the entire planet. You're gonna make my head explode! Ah! My next guest knows all about it. Thomas Ribeiro won first prize at a national science fair with a project to make electricity while getting rid of something called greenhouse gases. So what are greenhouse gases?
Well, greenhouse gases are gases that can be found in the atmosphere, and they could be produced both naturally or by human activities.
Thomas tells me that when we burn fossil fuels like oil and gas for energy, greenhouse gases are released into the air. Garbage dumps and burping cows make even more of them. Because they float high up in the atmosphere and trap the sun's heat around the Earth like a warm blanket, greenhouse gases are changing our planet, causing floods, fires, and weird weather. Phew! How do the gases trap the heat?
Let me show you. These jars actually represent the Earth. Let's pour some water in both of the containers, seal them up, and zip a plastic bag around one of them shut. This plastic bag is representative of the greenhouse gases that surround our planet in the atmosphere. Now, we place it under a sunny place or bright light for about 2 hours.
So now we wait.
Now that 2 hours have passed, let's take the temperature of the water in both the jars.
Whoa, it's warm.
Right, the plastic bag trapped the heat as the water was warming up. And the second jar represents the Earth without such a great quantity of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Let's measure the difference of temperature. (44.3 degrees Celsius). And what about the second one? 46 degrees Celsius. That's a 2 degrees Celsius difference.
That's a small difference.
Right, but a small difference can make a huge impact on our planet.
And that, Maya, is why the ice is melting in the Arctic. Thanks for telling us all about it.
No problem.
Speaking of hot stuff,
Where did those spiders come from?
the Flat Earth Corner! Beware, searcher, ruler of fire giants. Scourge of men and earth is coming to set the entire world on fire. He will wield his massive flaming sword, and no one will be spared. No one! So get yourself a fireproof vest and a rowboat and run for your life! Ah! We're all gonna die! Pretty much every ancient culture from the Vikings to the Egyptians believed in some kind of fire god or goddess. But now we know a lot more about fire and where it comes from. So I think I found the answer to your question. In nature, fires start from lightning or from hot lava spewed from volcanoes. We humans can make fire with a match or lighter, by banging special rocks together, by mixing chemicals to cause an explosion, and sparking something with electricity. Noah has a question about another way to make heat.
Why do your hands get warm when you rub them together?
Oh yeah, friction.
Ow!
Friction happens when one object rubs against another. They heat up. That gives me an idea for... my great challenge! Veronica and Kiana, your team sleeve. Chloe and Daniela, your team toque. Yeah! Today we're heating things up with friction. Shakib over here has a thermal camera, which can actually see heat. Cool! I think they mean hot. For your first challenge is you have 10 seconds to make as much heat as you can by rubbing your hands together. Kiana, you will start first.
10, 9,
Shakib will measure the heat that your hands transfer to this board.
5,
Push harder!
4, 3, 2, 1. 26.2.
Pretty good. Okay, Chloe, your turn.
10, 9, 8,
Faster!
7, 6,
Push him.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put
Go.
your hands down. 30.7.
Okay, Chloe, you win. Yeah! 1 point for Team 2.
10,
Second challenge, rubbing sandpaper on wood.
7, 6, 5,
Push harder.
4, 3, 2, 1. 41.
Wow. Daniela, your turn.
10, 9, 8,
Faster.
7,
Come on,
6,
push harder.
5.
Look at
4,
that. In only 10 seconds, the piece of wood's room temperature is
1.
rising from 20 degrees to...
41 also.
So I guess both of you get a point. Yeah!
10, 9,
Third and
8,
final challenge,
7,
a pedal to the metal
6,
friction challenge. Friction
9,
makes so much heat
8,
that it can make a race car's
7,
tire melt right off. That's why cars need to
5,
put new ones on during a
4,
race.
3, 2, 1. 27.7.
Pretty good. Okay, Danielle, your turn.
10, 9,
Go, go, go.
8, 7,
Faster, faster.
6.
It's 2-1.
Faster.
Will it be a tie
4,
or will Team 2 win? They need to beat 27.7 degrees.
28.2.
That means Team 2, you win the challenge! Yeah! Thanks everybody for being on my show and helping me find stuff out about heat.
Yeah, that was hot. That's hot.
Why do we eat hot food?
Good question. Why do we eat hot food? I found out that in prehistoric times, we humans ate our food raw until we figured out how to cook it over a fire. Eating food actually changes it, so it's easier to chew and swallow. Look how different the meat is before and after it's cooked. Cooking food also kills germs called bacteria, which makes it safe to eat. And some foods like chicken should never be eaten raw because it has bacteria that can make you really sick. Ugh, I would never, ever eat a raw chicken. Ask a friend. Hey guys, what food do you think tastes better cooked than raw?
I think carrots and potatoes and meat.
Meatballs.
I like cake better when it's cooked. Noodles.
Fish.
Cookie dough, because when it's like raw, it doesn't really taste good, and if you eat it raw, it like hurts your stomach.
I love frozen pizza. It's the best.
So I found out today that he can do incredible things. He can make stuff expand or melt will boil into a gas, or change into something else, or even explode? I think I'm ready to answer the question that started my show.
Why does heat cook food?
The big answer is... It transforms our ingredients into something completely different. I found out that adding heat to food causes a chemical reaction. Heat breaks the ingredients down into a mixture of chemicals that feel good in your mouth and taste awesome. Unless you heat them too much, then they taste less awesome. Hey, I can put the candies inside of the cookies. Hey, Dad, get out your mixing bowl. I just had the greatest idea ever. Oh, hey, I'm a bit dirty. I'm making pies. Well, actually mud pies. I wonder if I could eat a mud pie. That reminds me of a great question I got. Oh,
Is dirt bad for you?
Maybe it's bad for me. I don't know the answer, but maybe your questions about dirt will help me figure it out. Here's a question from Ethan.
Why do you have to take a bath?
Flat Earth Corner! Bathing? Taking a bath? That's a quick turn to Sickville. Ew! Why, I've known quite a few people who have died because of baths, so I would never, ever chance bathing. Unless I was healthy enough for a full fortnight. You do need to smell nice, though. So, we'll just add a little bit more mud and a nice spritz of this. Now I'm ready for the ball. Achoo! Maybe just a bit more mud to get rid of the cold. In the Middle Ages, people really thought taking a bath was bad for you and would spread diseases. It's kind of how we think of dirt today, actually. But dirt can't be that bad on you, can it? I mean, some people actually take mud baths at fancy spas. So no need for me to take a bath to wash this mud off, right? Wait a second. Dirt can contain what? That's right. There's insect poop in dirt. Gross. So who would want to take a bath in all of this? Ugh. Huh. It turns out the kind of mud they use for mud baths is different from regular mud. Okay, so maybe we do need to take baths, and I should take one. Don't go away. Now that I'm nice and clean, I'm ready to answer this great question from Marina.
Are dirt and soil the same thing?
Uh-oh, do try this at home. To answer your question, Marina, dirt is what makes things dirty, so it can be soil and it can be dust. Pick up some dust around your house and compare it to the soil in your plants. Soil is a kind of dirt that helps plants grow. But dust is something different. Dust is made of stuff that floats in through the air like pollen, pet hair, and carpet fibers, along with some of the dirt you track in from outside. But you can't grow plants in dust. Soil is heavy and clumpy, and it's filled with lots of things that make it possible for plants to grow. It turns out plants actually like to eat stuff like rotting leaves and insect poop. Ooh, yum, yum. To each his own, I guess. Anyway, there are all different kinds of soil around the world, and they can be different colors. Hey, look! It's my gum. I thought I lost that last year. I wonder if I can wipe off the dirt off and eat it. Thankfully, Aaron has a question that can help me.
If animals could eat dirt, why can't we?
Wait a second. Animals eat dirt? Aaron is right. Some animals definitely eat dirt. They're called geophagic. Geo means dirt, and phagic means to eat. Like I found out before, there are nutritious bugs in dirt, but along with those bugs, there are also parasites and bacteria. Things that usually don't make animals sick, but that could make you really sick if you eat them.
Ew. I guess I shouldn't eat that.
Along with all that bad stuff, there are also lots of nutrients in dirt. Minerals like calcium and iron that help make animals strong. If certain animals don't eat dirt, they don't get the nutrients that help them survive and grow up strong. Haha, I'm stronger than you! I'm okay. Even though eating dirt can make humans sick, we get important nutrients from it too. Except we get them by eating the plants that grow in dirt. Now, here's a question from Kareen.
Can you make stuff with dirt?
To answer that, she makes cool things out of clay, and she's our special guest today. Please welcome ceramic artist Kathy Reeves.
Hey, Zoe.
Hi, Kathy.
Look what I brought you. These are pieces made of clay.
Wow, beautiful.
It's actually a kind of dirt, eh? Watch out, it's fragile.
Well, I'll try not to crack you up. Get it?
Yeah, got it.
Whoa, what's this crazy spinning thing?
This is a potter's wheel, and I'm gonna make a bowl with this clay.
So how does it get from this to this?
That's a good question. I bake it in an oven. It comes out like this.
Cool.
Feel how it's hard?
Yeah.
And then I'll dip it in a glaze, which is like paint.
Yeah.
And it goes back in the oven, which is called a kiln, to 2,000 degrees.
Wow, that's hot.
Here we go. I'm gonna wet my hands. I'm gonna open it up like a volcano. Now you're gonna open up the piece to make it more like a bowl. Up we go. Do-do-do. So that ball of clay is turning into something you can use every day. So you can make something like this.
Wow, that's so cool.
I have magic fishing wire here, and I'll slice it right off. And if you pass me that tile there, I'm gonna slide this on, stick it right on there. Ta-da! I have to wait for it to dry completely, so it's gonna shrink. The water's gonna come out of the clay, it's gonna get smaller, and then once it's totally dry, I'll put it in that kiln, and then after about 8 hours, it'll come out like this. The pottery, it becomes like a rock when it's finished, solid, hard, and that's why we find clay pieces, shards in archaeological sites from thousands and thousands of years ago. It's so durable. Now we get to see how Zoe does it. Okay, so you're gonna place your hands like a butterfly, and we're gonna try to lift it together, and you'll make that like witchy poo hat. Put your hand on the top here and push that down. Push down, push down. So your fingers are gonna go like this, slowly, slowly. So go out. That. Now it's ready to come off the wheel. Zoe, look what you did. Proud? So I'll take this back to my studio and trim it and glaze it for you so it's ready to go.
Thanks, Kathy. Meanwhile, here's a question about things you can make with mud from Victoria.
How do I make houses out of mud?
I checked, and here's what I found out.
Ancient Egyptians used sand, silt, and clay and mixed it with straw to make bricks. They would let the bricks dry in the sun, and then they'd be ready.
Why mud, you ask? Well, because it's easy to get. It's cheap, and it's fireproof.
Thick dirt walls also keep houses warm in winter and cool in summer. And you can build a whole house with only a few tools besides your own 2 hands.
And the bricks are strong.
Mud bricks can be as strong and as durable as stone. In Africa, some mud brick buildings have been standing for thousands of years. Today, some people still make houses out of mud like these mud houses in Mali. And this kind of mud house called adobe found in the southwestern United States.
I wonder if we can make bricks out of mud, like people did in the past.
The experiment!
We're gonna make mud bricks.
Show me. For this experiment, Adriana and Ariane used some water, soil, straw, a container, and a milk carton. That mud seems muddy to me.
It feels gooey. The straw will make the bricks more solid.
Yeah, without straw, the bricks would crack and break more easily. Now it's the fun part, where you dump the mud in the milk carton. What's the next step?
We're gonna put it under the sun for a week so that it gets really hard. Well, these bricks were drying for 1 week.
Are they strong enough to build with?
Yep. We did it.
That's awesome! Now you have to build a whole house!
Are you joking?
Just kidding. Thanks for showing me. Bye, guys.
Bye.
That makes me have a question of my own.
Ask a friend.
If you could build your dream house out of mud, what would it look like?
It would be like a castle with like mud bricks. And it would be like a mud fountain squirting mud, but it's like edible mud.
I would just live in the dirt, so I wouldn't even have a shower.
The bathroom would be all mud, and when you sit on it, it would just stick to your bum.
I'd like a mud house because I could get all the mud baths I ever wanted. And spa treatments.
I wouldn't need any staircases because I can just slide on the mud.
I would have a mud bed, and by the morning I would be covered in mud on my back, but still, it'd still be fun. I would have pet pigs so they can roll around in the mud, and I won't have to do a homework, so I can tell my teacher my homework got all full of mud.
Hey, Zoe, look what I have.
Whoa! Is this the bowl we made?
It sure is.
So I made something out of dirt that I can actually eat out of.
Yeah, and no bugs.
Well, thanks for helping me find stuff out, Kathy.
No problem. Oh, it was fun.
Wow, this clay is really hard. I found out about another really hard clay called porcelain. It doesn't just make cool ceramics. It's used to make all kinds of things, like floor tiles, toilet bowls, and even false teeth. It's hard to believe this used to be all wet and slippery. Leia has a question about that.
Why is mud so sticky?
To answer your question, I'm here at the Tofino Mudflats. A mudflat is an area by the ocean covered by layers of mud that can be as deep as almost 2 meters. At high tide, it's all covered with water. I'm meeting Emily Fulton, a marine biologist.
Hi, Zoe. Welcome to the Tofino Mudflats.
Thanks for having me. This place is awesome and sticky. I was hoping you could help me find the answer to Leah's question about why mud is so sticky and hard to walk on.
Let's check it out. So what we see here is kind of a mix of silt and sand and water and organic matter all kind of held together, and it's pretty sticky, but believe it or not, if there's more clay and dirt in the sand, then it'll make the mud even stickier.
Wow. So the stickiness of the mud has to do with the type of soils that make up and how much water is in it. Here, the tides cover the mudflats twice a day, so it's always sticky. But some soils that get very little water get super hard and definitely don't stick. Why does it smell so bad?
Well, in the sand here, we have lots of bacteria, and that could make it kind of stinky. If you look down here, the really dark patches in the mud, those are anoxic places. So there's no oxygen when you go deeper into the sand. And that's where the bacteria lives, and that's the stinky part.
So you probably would not want to eat mud pies from here.
If you ate one from here, it wouldn't hurt you, but it might not be very tasty.
No, thanks. I have another question. It's from Kenya.
Do creatures live in the mud?
There are thousands of creatures that live in the mud here. So all around us, you see all these tiny little holes in the mud?
Yeah?
Those are made from tiny creatures that are living underneath. I can see some little creatures by your boots here.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a ghost shrimp. They like to burrow into the mud. They're some of the ones that make all these little holes that we see.
Wow,
Wow, take a look at this.
Wow.
So this is a moon snail. The biggest kind of snail you're gonna find around here.
Wow, that's crazy.
Looks like it's burrowing back in, you can see.
It is so gooey.
They are really gooey.
Oh, look at it, it's going in.
These guys don't actually have eyes like we do. So when it feels us touching the side of it, it doesn't know if we're predators. It might think we're trying to eat it.
So what is that beside it?
Believe it or not, this is what a moon snail's eggs look like. Looks kind of like rubber, doesn't it? And it feels kind of like rubber. So this is thousands and thousands and thousands of little tiny eggs squished between sand and mucus to protect them.
Wow, well, there really are a lot of creature and foods in this mud. Thanks for helping me find stuff out.
My pleasure. I had a lot of fun in the mud with you. But I can see the tide's coming in, so it's probably a pretty good time to get going.
Yeah. I'm sinking!
Let's get you out of here.
I can do it. Gotta wiggle. I gotta wiggle. I got it. Woo!
High five.
That was a hard one.
That was fun. And I'm not the only one who likes to be in mud, as this question from Emma shows.
Why do pigs love rolling in the mud so much?
Let's ask an expert.
Ask a pig.
Sweet!
I hate to be all clean and pink. I want to get in mud and stink. But summer I don't need a pool. A puddle of mud will keep me cool. Yeah! Rolling mud is my delight. It means the flies and bugs can't bite. The sun can't burn my dainty skin when I'm covered in mud in my pig pen. Now that you know how we pigs think, don't you want to roll in mud and stink? Don't you want to roll in mud and stink? Yeah!
No thanks, but enjoy your mud bath. I found out other reasons pigs like to roll in mud. Sometimes there's pig food in it.
In France, farmers use pigs to find mushroom-type things called truffles. Truffles grow in the dirt near the roots of trees, and they're super delicious.
Chocolate truffles are totally different things. They're called that because they kind of look like truffles.
But the rarest truffle is the mysterious white Alba truffle. Ooh. I found out that they cost thousands of dollars a kilogram. So when the pigs are truffle hunting, they're looking for buried treasure. Ah, buried treasure! Arr! Did someone say buried treasure? Yoink! Wah, 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 wah.
And that gives me an idea for...
My Great Challenge!
Today's challengers are Pig Ella, oink oink, and Pig Megan. Today, you're gonna be truffle pigs. Now, these aren't real truffles, but we'll pretend they are. There are a bunch of these hidden in the mud. The challenge is you have to dig your face in the mud, and then once you find a truffle, you have to pick it up with your mouth.
Ew! No! No!
Just kidding. You're gonna use your hands. Okay, on your marks, get set, go! Come on! Dig, dig, dig! You gotta look everywhere. They're hidden all over the mud, like in the corners. Keep looking, you guys. Keep going. You guys gotta dig faster and harder. Come on.
Oink,
Oh,
oink.
you found one. Good job. You find anything?
Yes.
Yeah, good job, Ella. Maybe try looking in the corners. Find one? Good job.
Oink, oink.
Good job, Megan.
Piggies, stop fooling around and dig up those truffles.
These pigs must be in heaven.
Oink,
Oh,
oink.
good job, Megan.
Oink, oink.
Good job. 10 seconds left. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, going there. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, time's up, you guys. Bring me your buckets. Okay. Ella, let's see how many you got. You got 2. Good job. Okay, Megan. Let's see how many you got. You got 5 and a hedgehog. So you won. Good job. Next question.
Is there dirt everywhere in the universe?
Yummy cheese. Well, Juliet, I checked, and lots of planets we know have their own kind of dirt, like this red dirt from Mars. But I found out something even more amazing. There's stardust from exploding stars all over the universe. Some of the stardust is in dirt and even in our own bodies. Turns out our bodies and dirt have something in common. So I think I finally know how to answer Nayla's question.
Is dirt bad for you?
The big answer is... yes and no. Dirt is bad for you in some ways. We shouldn't really eat mud pies. There are things in dirt that can be unhealthy, but we also need dirt. We grow our fruits and vegetables in dirt, we make all kinds of useful things with dirt, and our bodies need some of the minerals that are in dirt. In a way, our bodies are partly made out of dirt. We couldn't live without it. So I guess because I'm already part dirt, I might as well go out and play in the mud, right? See you next time for more Finding Stuff Out.
Hi, welcome to Finding Stuff Out. The show is simple. You ask, I find out. It's not rocket science, unless you ask a question about rockets. Then it is. Here's today's first question. It's from Joy.
How come weather just changes to other weather, like first it's hot, then it's cold?
Yeah, what gives? Weather's always changing and I don't know why. But by the end of the show, I'll have the answer to your question. Along the way, though, there'll be tornadoes, snow, hail, and if my dad doesn't fix the washing machine soon, maybe even a flood. I'm going to start the investigation with the question from Hanifa.
How could the sun be out in winter when it's cold?
Yeah, come on, son. Either you're hot or you're not. Pick a side. Pretend this light bulb is the sun. Now, lucky for you guys, I did some research on the subject. Now pretend this is the Earth, us. The Earth orbits around the sun.
The sun feels hotter in the summer because the part of the Earth you live on is tilted toward the sun. 6 months later, when the Earth has moved around to the other part of the sun, the part you live on is tilted away from the sun. So we can still see it, but we're not getting the full effects of the sun's rays. So it's not as hot. Next question.
How many kinds of snowflakes are there?
How many different ones? Let's see. They say no two snowflakes are alike. And they're only this big. I wonder how many fit in a teaspoon. Must be hundreds. But when it snows, there's so many of these, you need a shovel to clear a path. That must be millions. And then you need a snowplow to clear your street. There must be billions, or trillions, or bajillions, or gazillions, or whatever they call a number that high, and... You're gonna make my head explode! I don't know if bajillion's a number, but there must be a bajillion different snowflakes out there. But seriously, nobody knows how many different snowflakes there are. But I can show you some of them up close with my super zoom-o-matic.
Check out these snowflakes. They all sort of have 6 sides. Weird. I'm not sure if they're different or the same though. So let's see.
Different, same. Oh wait, no, different. Ah, forget it. I'd rather look at a bajillion snowflakes all at once than each flake one at a time, because that would mean snow day! Though I'm with Elizabeth on the next question.
Why can't it just be sunny all the time?
That would be amazing, Elizabeth. To figure it out, please welcome my special guest, TV weatherman, Frank Cavallaro.
Hey, Harrison, how's it going?
Hi, Frank. Welcome to my show.
Nice to be here.
Now, did you bring your thunder for the interview today?
No, but I got something else for you.
Oh.
Some snow.
Okay, so could we have sun all the time?
I don't think so, because there's always going to be some cloud cover around, so therefore it'll block the sun's rays.
So no permanent sun?
Actually, that's a good question. You know, there's going to be a time every year, I'm going to use the globe here, there's going to be a time every year for 6 months where the North Pole, as the Earth rotates, will have daylight for 6 months.
Well, I'm just going to move there.
No, hold on now. It doesn't mean it's going to be hot. But look at what happens 6 months later. The South Pole will get the sun, and the North Pole is dark for 6 months as the Earth rotates.
Living in darkness? I'll leave that to the mushrooms. Anyway, here's a question from Shakur.
My question is, why is there wind?
The short answer is 3 being chili. But seriously, I found out that the sun causes wind. The sun heats up the land and the air, which causes hot air to rise. Then cold air zooms in to take its place. Hey, I should make a song about this. It could be a rap. Hit it!
Yo, yo, hot air goes up, cold air goes down. That's when we feel wind on the ground. It blows around leaves and sticks and twigs. It even blows off my grandpa's wig. Land heats fast and water slow. That changes how the wind will blow. Yeah, wind will go just where it needs, 'cause air heats up at different speeds.
All this talk about wind takes my breath away. Hey, that reminds me, I can make my own wind. See? Wind. You can measure the direction and the speed of the wind using something called a windsock. Frank will show us.
Uh-oh. Do try this at home.
Here, I brought this sock for you, Frank.
We're not here to measure smell. We're here to measure wind.
Well, I think you can also do it with a paper bag, so you can try this at home. Here, show us.
Okay, let's try this. I'm going to use a fan in this paper bag. This is a light breeze. Anything over 10, 11 kilometers an hour is a light breeze. But watch what happens if we get a gust of strong winds.
Whoa, it opened right up.
And this could cause damage to branches, trees, roofs, and your hair.
Not my hair. Yeah.
Yeah, your hair. So Harrison, you may have noticed that airports and helipads, they have these windsocks there. You know what they do?
Yeah, are they those orange things, right? I don't know what they are, though, what they do, I mean.
Well, most planes will land and take off against the wind.
Okay. So that means?
That means that they look at the windsock, and that tells them which runway to use as they're approaching the airport.
So a windsock is the airport's version of our paper bag.
That's right.
So I guess if a plane is landing, they'd be facing that way, right?
That's right.
They'd come down. Meow. Okay, so what can kids use this bag for outside?
Well, you can actually go in your backyard and take out a bag on a windy day and put up the bag, and it'll tell you how strong the winds are.
And which direction,
and which direction. And if there's no wind, then look what happens to the bag. It just dies.
Well, Frank, I just thought of another thing you can do with the paper windsock.
What's that?
Well, if you blow it up with air, and then you can make thunder. Here's another question. It's from Ben.
Where do clouds come from?
I looked it up, Ben, and I made this animation to show you where clouds come from.
So these water vapors in the air grab onto a piece of dust. And when 1 billion of their buddies do the same thing, we start to see them together as a cloud. The air up there is colder, so the cold air causes the water to condense. Then these drops crowd together like it's a huge party and start bumping into each other. As the droplets bump together, they form bigger and bigger droplets, and then when they're too heavy to float in the sky, they fall as rain. Here's a question from Chloe.
How do weather people know if it's gonna be sunny or not?
The Flat Earth Corner! How does a weatherman in ancient Babylon know if it's gonna be sunny or not tomorrow? Astrology, of course. If I look up in the heavens, I can see that the moon is in Virgo, in the 4th house. Jupiter is rising. That means I predict you're gonna get good news, win friends, and influence poultry. Also, it's gonna be sunny and mild. Mars is activating my 2nd solar house. This can't be happening! Maybe I should have dissected a chicken instead. In ancient times, people used to use the stars and the planets to try to predict the weather. But it didn't always work out. So now we have high-tech equipment that helps us predict the weather accurately. Well, most of the time. Right, Frank?
Yeah.
I guess that's a sensitive topic for you. I mean, how do you predict the weather? Do you flip a coin?
No. We use radar, satellite, we have different data, computer models that show us the jet stream, the wind, systems that are developing. We put everything together, and that's how your forecast comes out.
How come with all this high-tech equipment, you still get the weather wrong sometimes?
Well, Harrison, you know, Mother Nature's always full of surprises. The weather can change drastically, very quickly.
How can the weather change so fast?
Things happen. The winds change direction, brings in colder air, temperatures drop, then the warmer air comes in, temperature goes up. It happens.
Wouldn't you be able to see the wind changing directions and stuff with all your fancy high-tech equipment?
And most of the time we do, but there are exceptions to the case where sometimes the weather just changes drastically that the computer did not pick up. But we're getting a lot better. We now have long-range forecasts. We can tell you the weather 6, 7, 8 days down the road. But I gotta tell you, it's tough to do the weather sometimes, but it's fun presenting it.
Well, let's see how hard Frank's job really is with... Challenge! Today, my contestants are Justin and Samantha. So today, you're going to be using your knowledge of wind, clouds, and forecasting to become TV weather forecasters. Think you can do it?
Yeah.
Okay then, Frank, please tell us how you do your job on TV.
Okay, guys, follow me. So this is where it all happens, guys.
It's all green in here.
Frank says he stands in front of a green wall when he presents the weather on TV. That's because there's a technical process that takes all the green out of the picture so he can put any kind of background behind us. Like this, or if you're a TV weather person, a map.
This is a clicker, by the way. Every time I press on this, a different map goes on. It could be a radar, a satellite, whatever I want to show. This advances my map, so it's all computerized.
So let's show the kids at home. They see a map behind us right now, right?
That's right. They see a map, and when I click, the map will change. And you point.
Okay, let's do the challenge. Here's a map of the world. I'm going to be telling you different weather conditions, and your mission is to try and predict the weather and where it will occur. Now, there are 5 different weather icons: sun, snow, rain, cloud, and wind.
And I'll be asking you where to place the specific icon to a corresponding city. But here's the catch. The viewers at home will see the map. You won't see the map. You're going to have to use that monitor.
It's just like how Frank does his weather forecast. Your goal is to make as few mistakes as possible. Okay, Samantha, you're up first. Justin, you can go downstairs and have some milk and cookies with my mom.
Yes, I got the fresh ones.
Leave some for us, though.
Maybe.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, first question. Water droplets have formed giant heavy clouds over London. What's going to happen? Oh, Samantha's going for the rain icon. Not wasting any time. Yeah, that's it. Good job. Okay.
Next question. The hot air over Thunder Bay is rising and cold air is moving in. Go.
Samantha's grabbed the wind icon. Oh, she's close. Not quite. Yes, she's got it. Okay. Treble Cone is in the southern hemisphere, and it's July. Well, Samantha's found the southern hemisphere, but can't seem to locate Treble Cone. And is that the right icon?
No,
That's not it.
Not right.
That one's a little hard.
What happens in the northern hemisphere in July?
It becomes hot.
What happens in the southern hemisphere in July?
It becomes cold. Oh.
There you go.
That's correct. It's snowing.
Okay. Water vapor is condensing over Beijing. Go ahead.
Samantha's going for the rain icon again.
No.
I'll read the question again. Water vapor is condensing over Beijing. What's happening?
Clouds.
There you go.
There you go. Perfect. And that's it. Okay, Samantha, you're done. We'll send you downstairs for some milk and cookies, and now we'll bring Justin up and see how he does. Okay, Justin, now you're up. The first question is, water droplets have formed giant heavy clouds over London. What's going to happen?
Justin wastes no time in grabbing the rain icon.
That's right.
Next question. The hot air over Thunder Bay is rising and cold air is moving in. Go.
Justin's checking out the monitor to see where Thunder Bay is.
No. Yep, there you go. That's it. Okay, Treble Cone is in the southern hemisphere, and it's July.
Justin also going straight for the sun.
No.
Wrong icon.
Nope.
Listen to the question carefully.
Treble Cone is in the southern hemisphere. It's July.
Justin's going for the rain icon. Oh, but he changes his mind.
There you go, that's it.
Final question. Water vapor is condensing over Beijing. What's it going to be?
Justin's got the cloud icon, but where's Beijing? And Justin's found it.
All right.
And now we'll get Samantha and announce the winner. Samantha, you can come up now. Okay, and the winner is Justin.
Yes.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Good job, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now we have a question from Max.
Why are tornadoes dangerous if they're just air?
Yeah, how is air dangerous? I mean, I can just push it with my hands.
Well, Harrison, air could be dangerous. When the pressure starts going up and down drastically in a short period of time, it can cause some serious damage. I want to do a little demonstration on a tornado.
Okay.
And of course, tornadoes can cause some serious damage, as we all know. Look at that. The wind speed of tornadoes sometimes could hit over 400 kilometers an hour, over 250 miles an hour.
Whoa.
And the thing with tornadoes, they don't give you a lot of time to get away. They just pop up because the pressure goes down, the pressure goes up, and this is what happens. And that's why tornadoes are very, very dangerous.
That's crazy. Now to find out how dangerous tornadoes really are, let's talk to George Coronas, who's a real live storm chaser. He's out chasing storms as we speak. Hello, George. I see you're out in some terrible weather. You could catch a cold out there, you know?
Harrison, as a storm chaser, catching a cold is the least of my worries.
So first of all, I think the kids at home probably want to know, what is a storm chaser?
Well, what I do is I try to get up close to the most dangerous part of the storm and then send in my reports so that people downstream of the storm can get those reports and hopefully save a few lives.
That sounds pretty risky. Why are tornadoes so dangerous?
Well, it certainly can be dangerous. It's not so much that the wind is blowing, it's what the wind is blowing. Pieces of debris, which could be branches, bricks, cars, sometimes even houses.
Wow.
So have you ever been inside of a tornado?
I have actually been inside a tornado once before with debris flying around. It's a very, very scary experience, one that I don't want to do again.
How'd you end up being right inside of a tornado and stuff?
Well, sometimes a tornado will change its path. I'll be tracking the storm and it will change direction, and sometimes I have to get out of the way. It's a force of nature. It can be very unpredictable at times.
So what technology do you use to help you chase?
Well, I've got all kinds of technology here in my storm chase vehicle. I've got my laptop computer that has satellite and radar imagery. I've got all my radios that I can use to send my reports in to the National Weather Service. GPS, all kinds of gadgets. It's basically a mobile command center on wheels.
So I'm pretty sure everybody watching wants to know, where do you go to the bathroom when you're chasing storms?
When you're on a storm, Harrison, anywhere you can. Anywhere you can.
That's a little awkward.
Sometimes it is. There's not a lot of trees out in Kansas, so you just have to find a place, and it's not always easy.
Do you get any adrenaline going when you're chasing the storms?
Absolutely, it's a bit of an adrenaline rush, especially when you're up close to a tornado, when the wind speed can be several hundreds of kilometers per hour. I'd be lying if I didn't say that I got some kind of adrenaline rush out of it.
Do you have to ever, like, drive away or, like, run away from storms or tornadoes?
There's been numerous times where I've had to get out of the path of a tornado to turn tail and flee. I try to do a dangerous thing in as safe a manner as possible.
Yeah.
Oh, looking at the radar right now, it looks like I might have a developing tornado on the horizon.
Are you gonna go out and chase that right now?
Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have to blast west here. I have a developing tornado.
Wow.
Hold on, let me get the radio here. Yeah, this is George K. relaying a message. It looks like we might have a tornado forming just to my west. I'm gonna try and intercept and get closer. Harrison, I gotta go.
Well, thanks for being on the show, George. It was great to have you, and I guess you have to go chase this storm.
Okay, I'm headed straight for the tornado. Stay in touch.
Okay, be safe. Bye. Whew. George sure does love his scary weather. Speaking of scary weather, here's a question from Samantha.
Why does hail hurt so much?
Ah, hail. The snowball's angry cousin. Usually a raindrop grows until it's too heavy, and then it will fall to the ground. Matter of fact, let's check back in with my buddy, the raindrop.
Hail is created when the raindrops, instead of falling down, get blown further up to colder air. The raindrops freeze into ice, get bounced around by the wind, and get bigger and bigger until they get too heavy and fall.
This means that instead of having a gentle drop of rain, you have a painful ball of ice. Ah! It's like waking up in the middle of a snowball fight. Watch these clips that George sent us!
On George's last storm chase in Nebraska, he found hailstones as big as baseballs.
Man, weather is no joke. I've found out a lot about weather, so I think it's time to answer
Joy's question that started today's episode.
How come weather just changes to other weather, like first it's hot, then it's cold?
The big answer is... there's lots of reasons.
The tilting of the earth changes the seasons. Wind blows when the sun heats up the air. Water vapor forms clouds, and clouds block the sun.
But there's no clouds here today, so I'm gonna go outside and enjoy the beautiful day. See you next time for more Finding Stuff Out.
Welcome to Finding Stuff Out. Things have been a little alarming today. I found out the snack I was eating was poisonous. I mean, poison? Fortunately, I remained calm. Okay, maybe not so calm, but turns out I was fine. Sort of a funny story. I read grapes are poisonous, but I didn't finish reading the sentence. Turns out they're poisonous to dogs, but they're totally healthy to us people. Wait, how can something I eat be poisonous to my dog? I mean, poison's poison, right? You know what else is poisonous to pets? Chocolate, raisins, avocado, gum, garlic, walnuts. Shouldn't we be able to eat the same foods? It's not like I would die if I ate a dog biscuit. Or would I? So confusing! Ah! You're gonna make my head explode! I'm determined to get to the bottom of this mystery. Maybe Maxim's question will help.
What exactly is poison?
The short answer is, I don't know. Poison seems more complicated than I realized. But by the end of the show, I'll have the answer. Meanwhile, here's another question.
Why are some frogs poisonous?
Well, Tegan, let's find out. He's an expert on animals that poison and bite, so I guarantee it'll be a delight. Please welcome Jesse DeLuca.
Hi, Zoe.
Hi. Wow, the frog is so colorful. It looks like it's made out of candy.
But you don't want him in your trick-or-treat bag. He's poisonous.
I've never seen a frog like this. What kind of frog is it?
This is a poison dart frog from South America. It gets its name because hunters used to use its poison on the tips of their darts. Poison dart frogs have some of the most brilliant and beautiful colors on Earth, but they are also the deadliest creatures on Earth. The golden dart frog, for instance, is known to be ounce for ounce the most toxic animal on the planet. Its poison is so powerful, only one drop can kill 10,000 mice. That's like 10 to 20 grown humans.
Yikes! So how dangerous is this guy?
Well, I was only kidding earlier. It's not poisonous at all. If it was in nature and eating the stinging insects that it usually eats, then it would be poisonous. For example, if he was eating little stinging ants, the stinging chemicals in their venom makes them poisonous.
So what do you feed him then?
I feed him little fruit flies and little tiny crickets.
Why are some types of frogs poisonous and others aren't?
Some frogs evolve to be poisonous and predators learn not to eat them.
That seems like a big advantage. Why don't other frogs have that?
Well, some frogs are poisonous, and then there's others that evolve to camouflage. I believe that frogs become poisonous due to the environment they live in and the food that is found there.
Cool. I have a question I think you can answer.
Why doesn't the poison in the scorpion kill the scorpion?
Well, Vulcan, you think I'm gonna have a live scorpion on my show? Well, you're right.
This is an emperor scorpion.
Is the poison in its claws or its tail?
It's actually in its tail, and it's not poison, it's venom.
What's the difference?
Poison is something that an animal has to help protect itself. If you eat it, you'll get sick.
So what's venom?
Venom is something that an animal has to kill its prey. The venom has to get into your blood. Just think of the frog and how its poison is for defense, and the scorpion has its venom for attack.
Defense versus offense. I think I feel a song coming on. Defense. You can't eat me.
Offense. I'm so hungry.
If you want a piece of this,
I'm in the mood to pitch.
if you want a piece of this, I will make you really sick. If you try to take a bite, then you might be dead tonight.
With my venom, I'll attack. I will paralyze my snack. But I won't eat you today. You're not tasty anyway. Yay, team!
Sorry about that. Sometimes I just feel a little musical.
No problem.
So how does the scorpion actually use its venom?
The scorpion uses its venom with its stinger. It stings its prey to paralyze it.
What would happen if it accidentally stung itself?
Some scorpions have anti-venom in their bloodstream that prevents them from getting hurt from stinging themselves. But if too much venom is released, it can end up killing itself.
Wait, if it stung me, would it kill me?
Scorpions can kill small animals. There's only a few scorpions that can actually kill humans.
Oh, phew.
But if you were to get stung, it would affect you. It would hurt.
That reminds me of another question I got.
Can you hold a tarantula without being bitten?
Well, Anjali, we're about to find out.
It's actually best not to hold a tarantula. This is a Brazilian black tarantula.
I'm gonna guess it has venom instead of poison.
That's right, it has venom. It uses its venom to inject its prey to paralyze it. This one actually doesn't spin any webs, it hunts down its prey.
Do all spiders have venom?
Because they don't have teeth, yes, all spiders do have venom. But their venom isn't very strong on humans. It's more like a wasp or a bee sting.
Yikes.
Ask a friend.
What would you do if you saw a tarantula or a scorpion?
Run for your life. I would faint.
I would take a stick and get it off. I would scream and cry and run away.
Take it off my leg and then squash it. I would have a heart attack.
I would shout,
Ah, tarantula! How can we actually avoid being stung?
You just want to leave it alone. If you don't bother it, it won't bother you.
So if you held the tarantula, would it automatically use its venom on you?
It might, but it doesn't want to use up its venom. It doesn't have an unlimited amount.
Well, thanks for helping me find stuff out.
My pleasure.
So tarantulas have to be careful not to use all their venom. Hey, that gives me an idea for...
My Great Challenge! Welcome to the Great Tarantula Challenge! Hope you're hungry.
Today's challengers are...
Dario! And Alessandro!
I hope you're not scared of spiders. You're going to be tarantulas. You each have giant venom squirters. You have to knock over your prey by squirting venom at it. But be careful, because you don't want to hit anything that tarantulas don't eat. Don't use too much venom, because when you run out of venom, you're done. Are you ready?
Yeah!
Okay, Dario, you'll go first. On your mark, get set, attack! Dario's going for an all-out attack. Ladybug. Yep, tarantulas eat mostly insects. Pretty much any insect they can catch. Even flies, mosquitoes, or bees. They're all delicious. More venom pressure. Not easy to catch your lunch now, is it? Uh-oh. Dario is lucky he didn't knock down that robot. Tarantulas do not eat robots. Looks like you're running out of venom, Dario. Dario got 10 snacks. Let's see if Alessandra can beat him. Almost got it. Nice, you caught a butterfly. A mouse. That's good for 1 point. Some species of tarantulas will actually eat mice, frogs, or even birds. Nope, you lose a point. Tarantulas do not eat flowers. Hey, I'm not a bug. Okay, Alessandra, it looks like you ran out of venom. Let's see who won. So, Alessandra, you knocked 8 prey down.
Yes!
And Dario, you knocked 10 prey down, so you win!
Yes!
Thanks for playing. Oh, and because the challenge probably made you hungry, here's a snack. Of bugs!
Well, that's an easy prey.
And here's another question from Emanuela that you can sink your teeth into.
How come some snakes are poisonous and others are not?
Ha! You can't fool me. Snakes can be venomous, but they're not poisonous. If they were poisonous, you'd get sick from eating them. And some people eat rattlesnake. I checked whether snakes have venom or not. Depends on how they catch their food. Some snakes don't need venom at all because they catch their prey by squeezing it until it suffocates. Imagine if you had to squeeze your lunch like that. But other snakes use venomous bites to paralyze their prey and sometimes to pre-digest it. I wonder what that looks like. Kiana and Maxim have an experiment to find out.
The experiment!
This experiment shows sort of what snake venom can do to your blood. First, you add some red food coloring to milk.
That looks like blood, except it's like lighter.
Yep.
Then you add vinegar and see what happens.
Oh my gosh. That looks very, very, very weird. It's all separated like into little bubbles in its own section.
It looks like a sponge.
Yeah, it does.
The vinegar clots the milk, so it's all globby and yucky. That's sort of what snake venom does to the blood of its prey.
That's disgusting. I wish I never had to see that.
That looked disgusting. Are you sure you want to eat that? Okay. Thanks, Kiana and Maxim.
Bye, Zoe.
Ugh. Why can't we ever have pizza?
Fortunately for us humans, scientists have found ways to make medicine called anti-venom. I found out they milk snakes for their venom to make anti-venom. They can save you from a snake bite if you get the medicine in time.
Snakes a lot.
How can you eat poisoned food? Why would I want to? Well, turns out some people do want to. I found out that the pufferfish is poisonous to keep bigger animals from eating it. You know, in case the spikes aren't enough reason to find a different lunch. But chefs in Japan have a special way of preparing pufferfish that gets the poison out. There's just a teeny little bit left to make your mouth feel stingy. But if the chef makes a mistake, it can kill you. To me, that doesn't seem worth the risk. But all around the world, people have discovered ways to eat poisonous foods safely. I found out that in South America, they make flour from a plant called manioc, or cassava, which is super poisonous. To make it safe, first you have to scrape it, soak it, boil it, grind it into flour, and then cook it. That's a lot of work. Cassava is one of the most popular starchy foods in places near the equator, but it's poisonous if it's not prepared right. Even foods we find in the grocery store can be poisonous, like the leaves of rhubarb and potatoes. And speaking of foods we need to be careful about,
How do we know if a mushroom is poisonous?
Flat Earth Corner! There are lots of old wives' tales about when mushrooms are safe to eat. I should know. I'm an old wife.
I've heard that if they grow on wood, it's safe.
As long as it's not red, it's fine.
I heard if you rub the red off, it's safe to eat. You know what? Maybe I should check first. People used to have all sorts of rules about how to tell if a mushroom was poisonous. But those rules were only right some of the time. And if you weren't right, I should have checked. To find out more about poisonous mushrooms, I'm on the hunt for them with mushroom expert Mary Burby and some of her students, Vivian and Anna. What kind of poisonous mushrooms can we find?
Well, I can show you some of the pictures of poisonous mushrooms that have made people sick in this area.
Sure.
So this is the death cap here, and this is the destroying angel.
Death cap, destroying angel? I can tell by those names that they're trouble.
You are so right. The reason why they have those names is because if you eat a relatively small amount, like 2 mushrooms, then the poisons in the mushroom can completely destroy your liver. And fairly frequently they die. So if there's any group of mushrooms that you should learn to recognize by sight, it's the death caps and destroying angels. So you can always avoid those very carefully.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going on a treasure hunt for poison. Here, mushroom, mushroom, mushroom.
There's one.
Oh, good job.
That's really cool.
Isn't it though?
I found one. What's this?
Whoa, nice find. That's a mushroom called the prince.
Poison or lunch?
It is, in fact, lunch.
I'll put you in me treasure chest.
If I were to collect mushrooms in the wood by myself, how would I tell if the mushroom's okay?
There are probably 30,000 different kinds of mushrooms, and some are poisonous and some aren't, and the only way to know which is which is to get to know the individual kinds very well. One way that people often learn to do that is by going out with groups of experts. So they go out with mushroom clubs who have a lot of experience picking and identifying mushrooms.
If I were to eat a poisonous mushroom, what would happen?
Well, I hope you never do, because it's not a pleasant experience. What your parents would probably do is to take you to the hospital and they'd pump your stomach, which is not pleasant, but that would get rid of the poisons. The mushrooms that cause the most serious problem are the ones where you can't tell that you've eaten something bad for a long time, so it takes hours before you start to get sick. And by that time, there's not anything that they can do by way of pumping your stomach because the poison is all throughout your body. And that's the problem with the death caps and the destroying angels. So I really hope you never get anywhere near those kinds of fungi.
Okay, I'm convinced. I'm glad you're here to help.
Anytime.
We found a lot of mushrooms, but no death cap or destroying angels, and I want to see real ones. So Mary brings me to the Beatty Biodiversity Museum to see their huge mushroom collection.
Shiver me timbers! Look at all these treasures!
That's the right attitude. They are indeed treasures, and they're preserved here so that scientists all over the world can study them.
Why are they all dry?
The reason why they're dry is because a fresh mushroom only lasts about 2 or 3 days, and then it becomes just a mass of slime. So the only way to keep specimens so that scientists can study them in the future is to dry them down. There's some that actually go back older than your grandparents are. Some mushrooms have distinctive smells. You want to smell a death cap?
Sure.
Anna and Vivian said that the death cap, when it's dried, has a particularly disgusting smell. What do you think? Is that disgusting?
I think so.
Take a look at this one here, because this is the one that's deadly poisonous. And one of the characteristics of the death cap is that it's got this cup. So the stem of the mushroom actually comes from inside of a sort of a cup. And if you see a mushroom that has a cup like that, don't eat it, okay? Because most poisonous mushrooms of all have that characteristic.
Thanks for helping me find stuff out. Arr.
No problem, matey. Don't forget your treasure.
I'm gonna eat you.
If the frog is red, you'll end up dead.
Maybe I'll eat your granola bar instead. Good idea. No one wants to eat something poisonous.
Hey, I think that's the answer to today's big question.
What exactly is poison?
The big answer is... Poison and venom are substances that help animals survive.
The dart frog's poison keeps animals from eating it. So does the pufferfish's poison, though chefs have learned to outsmart it. I found out that even plants use poison to protect themselves, like foxglove, which is extremely poisonous if you swallow it.
And if you think about it, even animals that use venom to attack are using it for survival.
Their venom helps them kill their prey, and they use the threat of venom to scare us away.
I'm definitely gonna stay away from poison, except for these green grapes. After all, I'm not a dog. See you next time for more Finding Stuff Out.
Hi, and welcome to Finding Stuff Out. I came all the way up here to the International Space Station because of this question from Veronica.
Could kids go to space? I'd like to go.
I want to go too. So today, I'm gonna train to go to space with the help of some real astronauts. And by the end of the show, I'll be able to tell you how kids can go to space. Who's with me? Let's get some.
Would these kids like to go to space? Let's find out.
I'd like to go to space so that I could have no sense of direction whatsoever.
So I could be the first person to plant a tree on the moon.
So I could squeeze a bottle of water and just suck it up with my mouth, like that.
I would so I couldn't see the sun to discover the planets.
Because then I could meet an alien, see, I already practiced.
I want to be the first kid to break dance on the moon.
I don't want to go to space
Because I might get dumb and take off my helmet.
Note to self, don't take your helmet off in space. Anyway, here's the next question. It's from Mia.
Where did astronauts get the idea to go in space?
The Flat Earth Corner! No one really knows who got the idea to go to space. But more than 200 years ago in Paris, Claude Ruggieri was the first person to try it.
Step right up, folks. This is your chance to see the very first space travel. With my rocket, I'm going to send this sheep into space.
Yikes! Good thing the sheep had a parachute. But Ruggieri had bigger and better plans.
Hey, you! I'll send you into outer space. Drats! The Paris police always spoiling my fun.
Fortunately, the police stopped him before he had time to send a kid up in the air. His astronauts only got about as high as an office building, which isn't anywhere near space. It was a start, though.
If astronauts weren't tied up in space, would they just float away?
The short answer is only if they're in space. Every object creates gravity, a force that can pull other objects towards it, sort of like a magnet. So really big objects, like Earth, have a lot of gravitational force. So when you're here on the planet...
Hey, get back here.
Gravity pulls you back to Earth. But the further away you get, the weaker Earth's gravitational pull is, until it can't reach you at all. So yes, Sabrina, astronauts would just float away if they weren't tied to their spaceship during spacewalks.
Gravity can't get me when I'm traveling out in space. It can't pull my pants down or put wrinkles on my face. 'Cause when I am in the cosmos, far from things with gravity, I can float around my spaceship free and nothing pulls on me.
Here's a question from Andrew.
How do astronauts train for zero gravity?
You're probably wondering why I'm upside down. In zero gravity, it can feel like blood is rushing to your head. To find out more, I'm calling my friend Jeremy in Houston, who's a real astronaut in training.
Hi, Harrison. I think there might be something wrong with your camera.
Oh no, I'm not actually upside down here.
Oh, I see. You're just practicing.
Yes.
Well, great. That's a great way to practice. In fact, sometimes I practice what it's going to be like in microgravity one day.
Do you actually practice like that, though?
Well, I have, yeah, but not usually. We have better ways of doing it. You should come try it sometime.
So how do real astronauts do it?
Well, we have this really cool airplane, and you get in this airplane and it flies up into the sky, and then you're just sitting on the floor, and it does this roller coaster motion, goes down like this, and while it's diving down, you're in zero gravity. You're floating just like you're in space, and it is a ton of fun. You can fly all over the airplane, you can do flips, you can tackle your buddies. It's just a really great time, but most importantly, you get to experience what it's going to be like when you're in space.
I found some video of you training in a swimming pool. What's that all about?
Right over here, I've got what we use to keep ourselves alive when we're in the pool. I've got a spacesuit here. And this spacesuit, if I were to put you in it, weighs about 200 to 300 kilograms. So it's really hard to train with here on Earth. It's very, very heavy. But if we put it underwater, we can make it float. And that's how we simulate being in space and working in this spacesuit. It's a very cool spacesuit, allows you to do a really cool job out in the vacuum of space outside the space station, but it's also very hard to work in because it's big and bulky. Look at the size of these gloves. Imagine doing fine tasks with this.
Yeah, you have like nubby fingers and stuff, it looks like too.
Yeah. You know what else is important to realize is you can't scratch your nose. I think it's worth it. Can you imagine the view of our planet from space? Small price to pay.
Wow, well, being an astronaut must be pretty amazing. Thanks so much for helping me find stuff out.
Hey, my pleasure, Harrison. You take care. So long.
Sounds kind of hard to float around in zero gravity on a spaceship. To find out how, it's time for...
My Great Challenge!
Today, our challengers are Commander Joseph and Commander Malinka. Are you ready to experience zero gravity?
Yes, I am.
Me too.
All right, well, today you won't be leaving the planet, but you'll definitely be like you're living out on a space station where there's no gravity. You'll be strapped into this simulator. And your challenge is to bounce around, grab these Energizer cells right here, and then get all the way over to that satellite and screw them in. The one that does this the fastest will be the winner. Sound good?
Yes.
Commander Joseph, you're up first.
Yes, sir. Good luck in space.
Thank you, Commander Malinka.
Go! Zero gravity is sort of like being in a bouncy castle. Oh, missing them. It's as difficult as being in real zero gravity. He's got one. Now he has to get it to the satellite. Oh, he dropped it. In real outer space, that energy cell would be floating away forever.
To the satellite.
Quick! The satellite is losing power! Getting close. Does he have one? He has one.
He has one?
Yeah, one's in. Joseph's really speeding up, unless he drops this one, too. Yes! Oh, there, he almost has it. He just has to get it in. He's got it! 1 minute 25 is the time to beat.
I'm ready to win.
Go!
The yellow one. Off on a good start.
Yeah, she has a good start. Hey, Malinka, don't just float around. You've got a race to win. Hurry, your spacecraft is losing power. Oh, she has it right away. Oh, does she have it? Yes. Wow, Malinka's fast. Oh, she almost missed it, though. Yeah. Malinka's only got a few seconds left to beat Joseph's time.
Oh, she has
Wow,
one.
she's going it really fast. And does she have number 2?
Yes.
Yeah, she has it. Okay, Commanders, here are your results. Commander Joseph, your time was 1 minute and 25 seconds. And Commander Malinka, your time was 1 minute and 20 seconds. You're the winner.
Yes!
Okay, so how did it feel to be an astronaut and bouncing up and down and stuff?
It was really fun. I felt like I was wearing a big marshmallow costume.
And what about you? What did it feel like?
I felt like a floating pumpkin.
Right, because of the orange suit?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being on my show and thanks for helping me find stuff out.
You're welcome.
My next question is from Cassandra.
If I would be able to touch the sky, would it stop or would it continue?
I checked the answer, and the atmosphere around the Earth does end eventually. Astronauts have to blast through it to go to space. But space itself goes on forever. There's no end to it. How can that be? It must have an end. But if it did end, what's outside of space? There's nothing in space but space. Head getting warm, spatial overload. Ah! You're gonna make my head explode. Scientists think that space goes on forever and ever and ever. Kind of scares me to think about that. So let's think about something else.
Who was the first astronaut in space?
Well, we know it wasn't Ruggieri sheep. But I checked, and here's what I found out. The first astronauts to go up into space and safely come back
Excuse me?
were actually 2 Russian dogs who were sent up in a test program to make sure it was safe for humans to go into space.
Sweet. Decent.
But if you mean the first human, that was Yuri Gagarin, a cosmonaut. That's a Russian word for astronaut. More than 50 years ago, in 1961, Gagarin spent 108 minutes in outer space, traveling around the Earth once. Since then, more than 500 people have been to space, some for more than a year. Zero gravity makes me sleepy. Here's a question about that.
How do you sleep in space?
I found out that astronauts sleep in sleeping bags attached to the wall. That's so the astronauts don't float away. Floating away in your sleep would be really bad. I thought I'd try sleeping their way, but it isn't very comfortable. At least, not here on Earth. But I found a video of astronaut Chris Hadfield explaining how it works.
I'm in my super comfy Russian full-length pajamas. Nice for when you have to get up in the middle of the night, and ready to go to bed. I'll show you where I sleep.
Astronaut Chris Hadfield is the first Canadian to walk in space and to command the International Space Station. On his last mission, he went to bed 145 times.
This is my sleep station, my sleep pod. This is where I spend up to 8 hours every day.
Look what happens when astronauts squeeze a rag. Weird. Everything is just a little bit different in space, like cutting your nails over an air duct that sucks them in, so they don't go flying everywhere. Getting a haircut with a vacuum hose on the cutter, and especially washing your hair, as astronaut Karen Nyberg shows us.
What I like to do is start by just putting some hot water, squirting it onto my scalp. Sometimes the water gets away from you, and you try and catch as much as you can. Then I just work the water up through to the ends of my hair. And I take my no-rinse shampoo and squirt it also on the scalp, just a little bit, and rub it in. Again, kind of working it out to the ends.
How do astronauts get their food?
Whoa! The International Space Station! I'm here at the Canadian Space Agency with Danielle, who's a mission controller.
Hi.
Hey, so how do astronauts get their food?
Well, there are 6 people living on the real space station, and every few months we launch a spacecraft with food in it. And for some of them, they go right next to the space station, and we have to grab them with a Canadarm. And that's gonna be your mission today.
Awesome! So, do real astronauts train here?
Yes, they do, and you're gonna be using the same simulator.
Whoa!
But first, let's find out about the food that you'll be delivering.
For sure.
Well, this is Natalie, our space food expert, and this is Harrison, our delivery boy.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Well, I'm gonna go and set up the simulator.
All right.
Are you hungry?
Whoa! Look at all this food. Oh, some of it doesn't look very good. It looks kind of weird. Like, what is this?
This is macaroni and cheese. So this is just like the macaroni and cheese you have on Earth, except the water's been taken out of it. So when an astronaut's ready to eat it, all he does is put hot water right here, wait 10 to 15 minutes, like it says on the instructions.
Right.
And then you cut this open, and you can just eat it out of the package,
And
like out of a bowl.
It'll taste as good as it does on Earth?
It'll be delicious.
Nice. So what can astronauts not eat in space?
Any food that makes crumbs.
Oh, so they can't eat like cookies?
Well, they can eat some cookies as long as those cookies don't make crumbs. And this is an example of cookies that they could eat in space. These are actually crackers, but they're bite-sized, so you could put them in your mouth in
Right.
one bite and you won't make any crumbs.
So what's the problem with crumbs floating around in space, though?
They can get into equipment and that can damage the equipment, which can be a problem. Or they can get into an astronaut's eye,
Oh.
not very comfortable. Or they can breathe them in and get them into their lungs, which can be a problem too. And we don't want them to choke.
Right, that'd be bad.
Yeah.
So what other foods can they not eat in space?
They don't normally eat fresh fruit and vegetables. There's not a lot of refrigeration up there, so there's nowhere to keep the fruit and vegetables fresh. So we have to send them dried fruit and vegetables. So for example, this is dried cranberries.
Right.
It's packaged in packages like this, or it can be in a bar. For example, this is a fruit bar.
Yeah.
And that's another way to get fruit to the astronauts.
Nice.
But sometimes astronauts might want a little snack.
Like, what about these chocolates? They get chocolate in space?
They do.
Nice.
So that's cranberries covered in chocolate.
These are out of this world.
They're pretty good, very popular. So I think Danielle's waiting for you to deliver some food to some hungry astronauts.
Oh, all right. Let's deliver some food.
Okay, this is a model of the end of the Canadarm. You're going to use that to go and grab the spacecraft by this pin that we see right here and here. So you're going to do that using these 2 hand controllers or joysticks.
Danielle showed me how to work the simulator.
Left, right.
I have to move the Canadarm so that the end locks onto the pin on the shuttle. Then the arm can dock to the space station.
Wow, I think I'm gonna be good at this because of the years of experience of video games I have.
Well, let's see.
How many tries do I get?
Since we're only training, as many as you want. In real life, you only get 1 shot.
1 shot. Let's see if I can do it in 1 try.
Okay, you're ready to go.
There we go.
Very good.
Move it up. Okay. Wow. Are astronauts normally good at this?
Well, some of them are. The ones that used to be fighter pilots tend to be really good. But then there's some that are doctors and scientists and really never had time to play video games. So you might actually be better than them.
Whoa. Hopefully. Getting close. Whoa, okay, I'm almost there.
You're doing really well. You're getting closer.
Whoa.
Standing by for grapple confirmation, robotic arm finishing closing in.
Now. Did it work? Did I get, yeah.
Dragon confirmed in place and docked to the International Space Station at the Harmony node.
I got it.
Well, mission accomplished. Now the astronauts can eat.
I'm like a real astronaut now, sort of.
We could make an astronaut out of you, I think.
Well, thanks for being on my show. Do you think I could really be an astronaut one day?
Sure. If you apply yourself, get a good education, and you definitely have the video game part down, so good luck.
Thanks. This is awesome.
Hey, I've got a call. It's from Jeremy.
Hey, Harrison. Good to see you again. They told me you were at the Canadian Space Agency training with him on Canadarm2.
Yeah, they said that I could apply to be an astronaut someday, but is it possible for a kid like me to go to space right now?
Well, not right now, Harrison, but one day.
Oh, I guess I can answer the question that started us off.
Could kids go to space? I'd like to go.
The big answer is... apparently we can't.
No, hang on, Harrison. That's not it at all.
But I thought you said you couldn't take kids with you.
That's partially correct. We're not taking kids to space right now. But one day, when those kids get older, they can definitely be astronauts. And we're going to need astronauts to fly in space. There are amazing things happening in space right now.
We have liftoff of Falcon 9.
Dragon is sensed for stage acceleration.
In fact, for the first time in history, commercial companies are building new rockets to take people to space. And more people are going to be flying in space in your lifetime. In fact, I think one day it's going to be kids who are about 7, 10 years old that'll be the first humans to walk on Mars.
Whoa, that's awesome. So I guess the astronauts of the future are kids today.
Absolutely. You know what you have to do if you want to be an astronaut? You just have to do your very best. That's all you have to do. Find out what you love to do in life, follow that passion for the things you love, and just do your best.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being on my show. I'm gonna go train right now. On-the-job training, there's nothing like it. But being in space makes me hungry. Time for a space snack. Aw, pesky helmet. Uh-oh. Note to self. Don't take helmet off in space! Thanks for watching Finding Stuff Out!
I'm really excited to do my show today, and not just because Mr. Whiskers decided to join me. He's super excited too. I'm excited because today we're answering your questions about communication, And not just this kind. Or that kind. But all kinds. So let's take a look at question number 1. It's from Leela.
Can a horse and a pig communicate?
What do you think, Mr. Whiskers? He'll get back to you on that. In the meantime, I think I have the answer to your question. I went over to my friend's farm last week and filmed the horses and the pigs.
Okay, there are the horses and there are the pigs. And it doesn't look like there's any communicating going on between them. Wait a minute. The horse just looked over at the pigs. I'm not sure.
But I'm not giving up yet. Sometimes if you can't find the answer to a question, it's better to ask more questions.
So, Leela,
by the end of the show, I'll have the answer to your question.
Speaking of questions, here's another one.
Why do dogs go woof woof?
Now, I don't have a dog, mostly because Mr. Whiskers here is afraid of them. But I do have an answer to your question, Hanifa, and it's pretty cool. So this is my cousin's dog, Clyde. Mr. Whiskers doesn't like him at all.
I found out that when dogs bark, they're not just making noise, they're actually communicating. That means this dog is saying something right now. Do you know what it is? Maybe Ralph? Or Rolf? Roast, maybe. Is it possible that he's asking for a roast?
Oh, sorry, Mr. Whiskers. Here, you can leave. Here's the cool thing. Some scientists in Hungary have figured out that when dogs bark, they're telling us how they feel. And there are different barks for different feelings, like this is the play bark.
That's the bark a dog makes when he's playing fun doggy games, like tug of war or wrestling. Okay, now this is the stranger bark. That's the bark a dog makes when there's a stranger at the door. And here's another kind of dog doing the stranger bark.
There are so many different breeds of dogs, but they all have the same way of communicating with us.
Now, if you knew what the play bark and the stranger bark meant before I told you, you're not alone. People and dogs have a special relationship, and scientists have discovered that people can tell the difference between dog barks, even people without dogs.
How? Adaptation.
Dogs have been our companions for thousands of years, and scientists think their different barks changed over time to sound a lot alike, at least in tone, so that they can communicate with us. These dogs might look different, but they seem to be saying the same thing.
So if dogs bark to communicate with us, let's find out how well you understand them.
Uh-oh. Do try this at home.
Okay, I'm going to play 3 different types of barks for you. The first one is the food bark. That's what a dog barks like when he's hungry. Next is the alone bark. The alone bark is when a dog is tied to a tree and away from his owner. Last is the fight bark, which is when a dog is angry and or vicious. Now we have the 3 barks up here, and you have to guess which one I'm playing. And I'm not going to play them in order. Or am I? Okay, first one. Do you think that dog is hungry, feeling alone, or ready to fight? Ready for the answer? I have a drum roll. Hang on. It'll be easier if I just do it myself. And the answer is alone. Congratulations if you got it right. If not, you still have 2 more chances. Okay, so I'm going to play the last 2 barks one after another. Which one's food? Which one's fight? And the answer is food, then fight. If you got all 3 right, then congratulations. You're like an official dog whisperer. But if you didn't, don't worry about it. I'm sure dogs don't understand what you're saying either. How could they? I mean, we have so many words, and they only have one. Woof. But I guess it's not just what you say, but how you say it. For example, if I say drum solo, I'm asking a question. But if I say drum solo, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. Same words, but when I change the tone, it changes the meaning. It's a part of how we communicate too, and how dogs communicate, even though they don't use words. Hey, and that's the doorbell communicating with me. It's telling me my guest is here, but this time he's 5 inches tall and he's gonna answer a question about communication. This one's from Taya. Coming!
Why do parrots copy us when we talk?
So I'm here with Eliza and Aaron and their macaw, Coco. So why do parrots copy us when we talk? Why do parrots copy us when we talk?
They are able to mimic sound. Birds in the wild will mimic other songs, and parrots, when they live with us, try and mimic the sounds in their environment. So some birds will mimic sounds that they hear, like the telephone or trucks backing up in the alleyway. Many parrots will try and mimic human speech because they live with human beings.
I've heard of parrots that imitate ringtones on phones and doorbells and stuff. Does Coco do that at all, or?
He doesn't do that. His species doesn't particularly copy those types of sounds, but there are other species of parrots, for example, African greys or other birds that like those very high-pitched sounds.
Parrots live in groups, and they use sound to communicate with each other. But if there are no other parrots around for a parrot to talk to, then it will imitate whatever is nearby, like people.
So can Coco say any words at all, or?
Coco has a vocabulary. He speaks in English and in French. Aaron, do you want to try and get him to say something?
Allô, Coco. Allô. Allô, Coco.
So, does Coco really know what he's saying?
Well, Coco will answer you if you ask him a specific question in a specific circumstance. So, for example, if I'm in one room of the house and I call Aaron in another room of the house, he'll tell me to stop yelling because he doesn't like it when you raise your voice. If he wants to go to bed, he'll say, I want to go in my cage. And sometimes he'll say things like, if you ask him if he wants to eat something in particular that he really does want to eat, he'll say, yes, I do. And so they will respond and mimic and answer sometimes what you ask them with a set answer that they already know will give a desired result. But you never know exactly what he's going to say, and he'll say things only when he wants to.
So what's an example of a circumstance where Coco will talk?
Well, Coco likes going into drawers, and sometimes if he's in the right mood and he feels like going into one, he'll yell out, it's a drawer, several times.
In a really loud voice.
In a very loud voice.
It's a drawer.
He's like, yeah, that's me. I say it's a drawer. Okay, well, I have a drawer right over here, so we can try it out then, right?
Okay, let's try it. Oh, look. Want to go in the drawer?
It's a drawer. Come on, Coco. I think I heard him. He said it's a drawer. Thank you for being on my show, and thank you, Coco. I couldn't have said it better myself. Now here's a question from Omarion.
Why do some people speak in other languages?
Well, Omarion, I have no idea. So why don't we start out by finding out how many languages are there? Let's see, there's English, French, Spanish, German, Danish, Greek, Chinese, Lebanese, Croatian, Japanese, Egyptian, Italian, Ojibwe, Polish, Portuguese, Russian, Korean, Romanian, Yiddish, Dutch. Ah!
Yay! You're gonna make my head explode!
It looks like there are around 6,900 languages being used on Earth right now. 6,900? That's more languages than there are countries in the world. Where did all these languages come from?
A long time ago, very far away, prehistoric people might have talked the same. They went their separate ways, and the words they spoke started to change. So mata, mater, madre, mir, all mean mother, that lady who cares. Pater, pater, peer, padre, all mean father, no matter what you say. People walk their walk, and they talk their talk. That's why there's so many languages spoken in this world today.
Check out this language question
From Ashton.
What was the first language on Earth?
So it turns out finding the answer was pretty easy. Scientists think the first language on Earth was some sort of basic sign language. This is how I imagine it.
Apparently, back then, people could only kind of grunt. Which isn't really a great way to communicate. So they probably pointed and made up signs for things they couldn't talk about.
Now it's time for...
My Great Challenge!
Hello, contestants. Are you ready for My Great Challenge?
Yeah!
Okay, you guys are gonna be team number 1 and you're team number 2. Today, the challenge is to communicate like early humans without any talking, which is very similar to charades. So team number 2, please leave the room. Team number 1, get ready to play. So Michael, here's the sentence that you will have to act out.
The sentence I gave Michael says, your socks are on fire.
Got it? So Fabiana, you have 2 minutes to guess what he is acting out. Go.
Your feet are on fire?
You're very close. Guess, guess.
Your feet are burning?
Keep guessing, come on.
Your socks are on fire.
That's right, you got it. Yeah. Congratulations. You almost got it right away. You were really close. How did you know that it was fire?
Because when he lifted up his pants, like up until here, I saw him waving his socks, so I just knew it like that.
Why do you think it would be hard if there was no language back then, if you had to act everything out like you just did?
Well, because it would take a long time to guess what I was doing.
Do you think you'd get good at it eventually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think you did?
Good.
Good?
Great.
Great. Okay, Talia, here's the line that you'll be acting out.
Team number 2 has the same sentence. The sentence is, your socks are on fire.
Got it? Okay, and you'll be guessing what she's acting out. Are you ready? Okay, go.
Your, I don't know what she's doing though. Okay, you're putting on a sock. You're
keep acting it out.
Taking off your sock. You're washing your sock.
Getting closer.
You're drying your sock. It's hot.
Getting very close.
It's on fire.
Yeah, so?
Her sock's on fire.
You got it. Awesome. So, Talia, what did you think was the hardest thing about acting it out?
The fire part.
Why did you think the fire part was the hardest?
There's not a lot of fire, like, stuff.
So, and what was the easiest part?
The sock.
The sock? Why was the sock so easy to act out?
You just put a sock on your foot.
Or pretend to, yeah?
Yeah.
So, Jessica, what was the hardest part of trying to guess what Talia was acting out?
Like she said, the fire part, because there wasn't like much movements that she did for the fire, so it was kind of hard to guess.
How did you finally know that it was fire that she was acting out?
Because she like kind of like blew in her hands like it was hot, or like after she put her sock on, she like kind of like said it was like on fire, and she like kind of backed up and like, yeah.
Okay, the winner is team number 1.
Yeah!
You guys did it twice as fast as team number 2. Okay. Ancient communication is way too difficult. What I was trying to say is, thanks for playing My Great Challenge. Congratulations. That was awesome. Speaking of speaking with your hands,
There are jobs where people use special signals to communicate. Here's how a sailor sends a message from his ship to another ship. How a baseball catcher sends a secret message to the pitcher. And people who are hearing impaired have figured out how to talk to each other with their hands. It's called sign language.
Let's take another question.
This one's from Juliana.
Can you do sign language with animals?
I thought the answer to Juliana's
Question would be no, but you wouldn't believe what I found out.
And if you have a pet monkey, tell him to come watch this too. Since the 70s, scientists have been teaching chimpanzees some human-style sign language. And it turns out, they can learn a lot of words.
And over at the aquarium, they have trainers that know how to communicate with dolphins and whales. Let's check it out. So here I am with Nicole Can.
Hey, Harrison.
Hi, so can you tell me the different ways that fish and underwater mammals communicate?
Well, these belugas eat a lot of a fish called herring. And herring is a fish that has a very interesting way of communicating. They make distinct pulse-like sounds in their guts that are way too low for us to hear.
By their guts, you mean?
Yeah, I mean farting.
Gross. Well, I just communicated myself.
Oh, gross, Harrison.
But how do these guys communicate?
Well, beluga whales are capable of making a lot of different sounds. In fact, early Arctic explorers used to call them the canaries of the sea due to all of the different types of sounds they can make. And we know they use those sounds to communicate with each other, but we're not entirely sure how yet.
Nobody knows exactly what whales are saying to each other with their calls, but we do know some amazing things about them. It's believed that some whales can send their sounds to other whales halfway around the world. And humpback whales, like these ones, sing slightly different songs depending on where in the world they live. It's like each group has its own language.
So how do you communicate with dolphins?
You use sign language.
What do you mean by sign language?
It's a form of communication that we've come up with the dolphins. Everything we do with our hands means something different to them.
Okay, so can you show me a couple?
Sure. If you wanted to ask the dolphins to make noise or to vocalize, wiggle your fingers like you're conducting a choir. Perfect. And then if you wanted to ask them to swim really fast, what we call a speed swim, take your hand and go, go!
Go! Like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
So I can make a dolphin swim fast now?
You could ask them to swim really fast.
Okay. And what about like something awesome, like a backflip?
A backflip? It's actually a really small hand signal. Just your 2 fingers up and down.
Just by saying that, it's telling them to do a backflip.
Yep.
That's crazy. What else? Can they like wave or anything?
Well, if you wave your hands at them, they'll wave back.
They're so smart.
They are very smart.
So how do you say goodbye?
Like this.
Okay. Goodbye. Bye. I gotta teach some of these to my goldfish. Bad news. Mr. Whiskers ate my goldfish. Just kidding. But here's another question. This one's from Laura.
Can animals talk to each other?
So here's how I'm gonna answer your question. I'm gonna show Mr. Whiskers here different animals saying stuff, and we'll see if he talks back. Hey, Mr. Whiskers. Anyway, I think it would be easier just to search and see animals communicating with each other. Animals communicating with each other. Aha! We have a hit!
In Yellowstone National Park, scientists found another example of how different animals can communicate with each other. Ravens have learned a very clever trick. When they spot elk, they fly off to alert the wolves. Then, they lead the hungry wolves toward the elk. When the wolves have moved in for the kill and had their fill, the ravens swoop in and snack on the leftovers. That also answers the first question we started off with. Here it is again.
Can a horse and a pig communicate?
And the big answer is... maybe!
I found out that horses can interpret the body language of other creatures, and pigs are supposed to be way more clever than dogs. So if they really needed to, a horse and a pig might develop some kind of communication, like the ravens and wolves at Yellowstone. But so far, they don't seem to have much use for each other.
I'm glad we got to the bottom of that one. Modern science can rest a little easier tonight. Thanks for sending in all your questions and for watching Finding Stuff Out. Mr. Whiskers, cue!